Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. In 2020, we were able to build a brand new house. When we first got married, we were never sure of when we'd be able to buy a house because of all of our looming debt. We were able to build a brand new house and put down 20%. We're gonna show you how we did that. We'll talk about why putting 20% down on our house was important to us and give you some benefits of why you might want to consider doing it too.
So a few benefits of putting 20% down on your house, while it might not be the common thing to do or popular, it was important to us. Number one was just how much money that you can save in interest by putting down a larger down payment. In our case, we were borrowing a lot less money, of course, because our loan wasn't as big. So it saved us a lot of money in interest with putting extra money down. It also lowered our monthly payments. We wanted to have a very low payment, as low as possible, just because we know that life isn't something that you can predict. You never know what's going to happen in life. So if something did end up happening further down the line over the course of our 30-year loan, we wanted to make sure that our payment would be affordable for us for many years to come. We were able to get our payment down to $10.70 a month. We were also able to do that by buying points, like buying down our interest rate, which just to help our payment get down as low as possible.
This was definitely a good idea for us, and we're really grateful to have such a low monthly payment because we know how inflation is now and everyone's rent's going up. So we're definitely really blessed to have that.
While we do have a lower monthly payment, our payment does not include property taxes or insurance because we actually wanted to have that bill separate. It was important to us to be able to control our money and pay our property taxes and insurance on our own. Putting 20% down also allowed us to be able to do that. Most of the time when you're getting a mortgage, if you're not putting down at least 20%, usually they require you to have escrow and pay your property taxes and insurance for you. However, with a new build, typically your homeowner's insurance is a lot less, just because you have a brand new roof and brand new everything. So there's actually a contract that our builder had with an insurance company. They already know all the ins and outs of our home, which allowed us to get a much lower homeowner's insurance rate. And so far every year it's been about the same. So it's very affordable.
We prefer doing our own insurance and taxes because I know a lot of people do escrow and then they end up paying more. Then they end up getting refunds. And the type of mindset with those, not everyone, but the type of mindset with people with that is, oh, I got a refund, so I can spend it. It's extra money. But a lot of times you're overpaying for your property taxes and insurance. So being in control of your own money like that is a lot better for us instead of having to get those refunds and deal with overpayments and stuff.
Refunds, or sometimes people report that their monthly payment goes up a lot because they didn't pay enough. It could be anywhere from like $50 to hundreds of dollars that we've heard of people having like shortages in their escrow account. Especially with having a newer build house, people typically have that problem because at first, when you first get a new home that you built, your property taxes, you're just paying taxes on the land. They don't end up having your property taxes include the actual purchase price of your home until the following year. So for example, the first year that we had a property tax bill, it was $800 for the entire year, which obviously is not something that was going to continue happening every year. The following year, our bill was closer to $5,000 for the entire year. So it's easy for you to see your lower payment the first year and people think, oh, my payment is like so low. And then the following year, people report that their payment goes up a ton. So that's just something that you also have to think about if you're someone who's also building like a newer build home. We didn't have to worry about that so much because we just knew, yes, this bill is this much this time next year. We have a lot more that we need to save and put aside for property taxes.
Another reason we're glad to have put down 20% down on this house is to avoid PMI. So PMI stands for private mortgage insurance, and that's basically the bank's way of protecting themselves and ensuring that you don't default because they're taking on some risk. So we're glad to have avoided that because on our house, it would have been close to $250 a month extra just being paid to the bank. For us, that's not worth it at all. And, if you have a house and you put down less than 20%, there are some programs and banks that allow you to actually get rid of your PMI once you've reached more than 20% equity in your house. So I definitely look into that if you already have one. But if you're starting out, it's definitely best to avoid that altogether That's $250 more in our pockets every month that we can choose to put towards our principal instead.
So with paying extra on the principal, our most important reason, or the most valuable reason to us to put 20% down, is because you are taking out less of a mortgage. And our goal was to pay off this house as fast as possible. We had just finished paying off 6 figures of consumer debt, and now we were going back into 6 figures of debt, but we knew we had a plan to pay it off as soon as possible. When we first closed, our goal was 10 years to pay it off. Now, about 2.5 years in, our goal is 5 years total to pay it off. So we knew that we wanted to get that payment down as much as possible. That way any extra we paid was going towards the principal. We wanted to pay as the least amount of interest as possible, and we wanted to take out the smallest mortgage that we possibly could. So those are all reasons that it was super important to us to put down as much money as we possibly could. With doing that, we finished paying off our consumer debt in February of 2019, and then the following month, so March 1st, we started with about $500 that we had saved in February, and then starting March 1st of 2019, we began saving for a down payment on our home, and we took about 1.5 years or 18 months to save all that money. It was a lot of hard work, but we didn't have to be as aggressive as we were with paying off our debt. That brings us to our first point of how we were able to save 20%. The first step was paying off all our consumer debt. That was how we were able to have so much money extra each month to save, because we no longer had a bunch of payments that we had to pay to all these lenders. If you're new here, we had about a little over $100,000 of debt, with most of it being student loans. And we also had a couple car payments, a little bit of credit cards, just had a little bit of everything. So instead of paying debt every month, we were able to then start using that money to save for a house. So if you are someone who is in the market for a home, I definitely suggest doing that first. We were regular people who just had like a regular income. We each made about $45,000 at our jobs at this time. Ranging this 1.5 years, it was about on average $45,000 for each of us. So about $90,000 total. And we definitely would not have been able to save as much as we did without being debt free.
Yeah, we just want to show that it's possible and you don't have to make a whole lot of money. You know, we look around and we think, in order to get a house like this, we have to be making at least $150K or something like that. That's not the case. In the beginning of our debt-free journey back in 2016, combined, we were making $60,000. And that's me fresh out of school, her just starting at her job. And now we've progressed over the years, getting more each year. But what we're trying to explain to you is that it's possible to do it on a lower income. You don't have to make such a high income. The most important part is getting out of debt, because that frees up all your income.
We weren't as aggressive at saving money as we were as paying down the debt. We not only owed that money, but we had to pay interest on top of it. So we were very aggressive. We were working super hard, super long days, overtime, picking up shifts, exhausted, all that whenever we were paying off debt. But we got to relax a little bit. We took some time to ourselves. A few months after paying off all of our debt, we went on vacation, our first real vacation, where we flew to California and Los Angeles, and we had a good time. First kid-free vacation after we had a kid. So it was a lot of fun. We didn't really save as much at that time, but that's okay. We were okay with that because we just wanted to take some time and really enjoy our money. So I say that to say that it doesn't have to be something that's super aggressive whenever you're saving up. 1.5 years gave us a lot of time to save up as much as we wanted. Something else we did to save up money during this time was side hustles. I started driving for Lyft, and I was delivering for DoorDash. To this day, even when we're in this house, sometimes I will still pick up and do DoorDash just for extra money. It was really addicting, doing Lyft and DoorDash, because you see how much money you make, and it's actually kind of fun. We have a college that's not too far from us. Whenever they would have games, I would always drive for Lyft because it was super busy. People wanted to go see the game in person. Some days I would come home on a Saturday and I would just make $100 in that one day. It was different. I had some good experiences and I had some bad ones one time. somebody was drunk in my car, Dennis's car, and they got sick. So there's good and bad experiences that you'll have. Overall, it was super worth it because I made a lot of good money. DoorDash is something that you can stop doing it for years and they'll let you just pick back up and open that app back up and start making money again like you never left. So we made a good amount of money. So that was in 2019, so the first year that we were still saving. And I made at least $4,500 doing both of them.
So with me being a nurse, it's really easy there's jobs everywhere for a nurse. So it's really easy for me to pick up shifts and work overtime. So I remember when we first signed the contract to start the building process for the house in March 2020, right before everything shut down. And I would just go to work feeling really proud and I wanted to pick up more shifts. I knew the money was going towards this down payment. So there was so many opportunities for me at that time. During the pandemic, there was a lot of need for nurses, a big shortage. People were quitting their jobs, getting burned out. So there was a lot of opportunity for me. So I'd pick up a lot of shifts. Normally I worked 3 shifts a week, but I was working at least 5, maybe sometimes 6 shifts a week, 12-hour shifts. And we just put all that money towards this down payment. So it was very worthwhile to do that.
I was also working overtime at my job. As to Dennis' point, I also felt a lot more motivated to do overtime because you're really seeing the result of your money and you know that money is going towards your house, which was your ultimate goal. At one point, Dennis and I didn't know if we'd really be able to get a house, not ever, but not for a long time. Like sometimes it felt like maybe a decade just because we had so much debt and money was really, really tight. So we just really didn't know, but it was our dream for a long time because we had a lot of bad experiences with neighbors and it really affected our mental health. So to finally be able to get a house and have something that was just ours, it felt so far away, and we finally were seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and our end goal and what we've been working so hard for years. So finally it felt so close, it felt reachable, like we could actually touch it, and we just wanted to finish it out strong. So definitely if you're someone who has overtime available to you, I recommend doing it, whether you're paying off debt, saving for a house, anything like that. It really helps expedite your savings.
We also used to manifest ourselves being in a house, and just for fun, we'd drive around and look at nice houses in the area. Like we really dreamed of ourselves being in our own house, and we'd look at different houses and be like, wow, we could see ourselves being in there one day and not having to be in apartments all the time renting. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just for us, we wanted our own space and our own 4 walls. And with kids running around, we definitely didn't want to disturb people because we usually lived upstairs, sometimes downstairs, but we just wanted our own space where our kids could run around and not disturb our neighbors.
Yeah, me personally, I like to just drive sometimes, like to clear your mind and things like that. So going to look at houses as well, it was very inspiring and motivating. Whether it was a small house with a small price tag or a bigger one, either way, we just wanted to be in home ownership at some point. So with saving for 18 months, we did sign our contract, like Dennis said, right before everything happened with COVID. Actually, the day we signed our contract was the date that our governor shut down restaurants, movie theaters, all that. So we really didn't know what was to come, but we knew what we wanted to do. Of course, if you were paying attention to homeowner stuff in 2020, the interest rates were super low. We got a 3% interest rate. So we were planning to close in about 6 months, so September of 2020. And during that time, that's just really when we were super aggressive with saving. We were picking up shifts and doing overtime as much as we could. Closing in September was a great feeling. Putting down the money that we did, seeing the result of all of our hard work. Total amount that we saved up was about $63,000. Our mortgage that we ended up taking out was $254,000. Now we're working on paying off our house in 5 years. We are right at about the 2.5-year mark. In March will be 2.5 years. So we're super excited. It's so much fun looking at our progress and looking back on what we've already accomplished so far with paying it off. We were looking at some numbers today, and if we had paid our minimum so far, we'd be at about $240,000. So our mortgage would have only decreased by about $14,000. Whereas now we are at $141,000 instead. And seeing how much we're saving in interest, Our monthly interest would be about $250 higher, just all the numbers. So we're having a lot of fun with it. As crazy as that sounds, paying off our mortgage, we're having a lot of fun with it. We're super excited. We can't wait until that 5-year mark comes where we hope to be completely debt free. If you're someone who's in the market for a house, comment down below and let us know what your plans are for saving up money. Do you plan on putting any money down? We do know there's a lot of programs out there for first-time home buyers with down payment assistance. So is that something you plan to use, or are you also looking to put a lot more money down? Comment down below and let us know. If you like this video, please like the video and be sure to subscribe, and we will see you in our next one.